So I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with or have had the experience to try sugar-free dessert. Well, if you haven't, let me just tell you that any dessert that claims to be sugar-free is pretty much a laxative. And the very first week that I moved into my Christian house with 45 other girls, I was in my room and I had a couple handfuls of chocolate-covered peanuts, which were sugar-free. And I was sitting there, sorry to disgust you, and I had to go to the bathroom like immediately. And so I ran to the bathroom, and the bathrooms are huge. They're like 4 stalls, 4 sinks, 4 showers, kind of communal. And there's like 3 girls at the mirror like getting ready. And I was like, you know, gotta do my thing. So right there is like an instant bond, whether I liked it or not. So as college students, we are overwhelmed with schoolwork, homework, getting to class on time or going to class, trying to juggle friends and family, and we often put God on the back burner or our spiritual lives on hold until we have time to really or in our minds, we put on hold until we feel like we have time to have that relationship again. So by listening, you guys will find out how you can become a part of some sort of community of Christians. In 2000, Dr. Tom Ellis explained that the community and the communication that we have now in our lives directly affects our future relationships. So we should all be part of a Christian community because there is detriment to not having community in our lives, and living in fellowship is more beneficial. So there's detriment for not having community in our lives. And living without community is bad because we miss out on what God has to offer us. In small groups, we're able to experience love and encouragement from others, and those are 2 things God wants us to experience in our lifetime. And people within the Christian community claim that 90% feel closer to God, 87% have a deeper love for others, 84% are more able to forgive themselves, and 82% are more able to forgive others. So those are statistics that I'm sure we all want to be part of. We don't want to be the 10% that can't love ourselves or forgive others. Another reason why it's bad to not be part of a community of Christians is because we don't get to experience interpersonal communication. And at this time of our lives, it's really important that we're practicing how to communicate with others effectively, ethically, and spiritually, so that later on down the road when we encounter someone we don't necessarily get along with, we know how to interact with them. And it's also bad because we can't, if we're not part of a group, we aren't able to experience people's humanness. They're the qualities about them that make them them, and able to learn from those. So the Christian fellowship that we have now, if we don't have that right now, it's going to directly affect our relationships later on down the road. I'm sure you guys all know that the current divorce rate is at like 50%, like maybe going up and down by the second, who knows. But that's a lot different than what Dr. Tom Ellis said in 2000. He's a chairman of the Southern Baptist Convention Council on Family. And he stated that born-again Christians who marry in the church after having received premarital counseling and attend church regularly and pray together daily experience only 1 divorce out of 39,000 marriages. That's 0.002% of failed marriage. And I don't know about you guys, but I think we all strive to be one of those marriages that will last. So I don't know, maybe some of us are involved in a group right now, maybe not, but if not, it's really easy to get involved, and there's hope because God designed us to have fellowship, and fellowship is better than trying to do everything alone in our lives. The best support for that comes straight out of the Bible in Acts 2:44-48, where it says, "And all the believers met together constantly and shared everything they had. They sold their possessions and shared the proceeds with those in need. They worshiped together at the temple each day, met in homes for the Lord's Supper, and shared their meals with great joy and generosity, all while praising God and enjoying the goodwill of all people." Each day, God added to their group those who were being saved. So that just goes to show, it's straight from the Bible. If we're living in community, we're going to gain so much, and then also non-believers are going to be added to the kingdom of Christ. And 2007, Sondland Leckenby, who wrote a structural solution to communication dilemmas in virtual community from the Communication Journal, explained that even if we are afraid to get involved in some sort of community, or we feel like we don't have anything to attribute to the group, we're going to gain something just by showing up, because there's going to be so much valuable information pooled among the other people within the group that we'll have something to gain from it. So, contrast to our human lives, bees are kind of similar. They're all kind of working together for the one queen bee, and if a bee decides to go out on its own and try and do its own little honeycomb thing over here, the honey isn't going to be as plentiful, and it's not going to be as significant as if it tries to do it on its own. So I've had the opportunity to live in a house filled with 45 Christian girls, and it's been really great because I get to experience them on a deeper level. Obviously, like I shared at the very beginning, that wasn't necessarily my choice, but you get to know someone more than just a hey there, hello. You get to experience their struggles with Christianity and their encouragement they have through it. So now you're hearing all this stuff about how it's great to be in a community of Christians, but how do you do that? Well, there's a few churches on the campus area. Calvary Fellowship, Eugene Faith Center, and First Baptist Church have all really established college groups, Bible studies, accountability groups, the big just college group. There's a lot of options, and if you are interested in living in a community of Christians, First Baptist has the Alpha Omega House and the Trinity House, and Eugene Faith Center has Onyx House. So there's options. We just need to take that step and force ourselves to get involved. And so we should all be part of a community of Christians, and because the detriment to not being in a community of Christians is great, and living in fellowship is much more beneficial than living alone. So hopefully when you decide to take that step, you won't have such a negative experience like I did. All right.